Hey, welcome to the Steve and Crypto Show. I'm Steve,
I'm Crypto Zoo.
and I personally am really excited about this episode. I sat and had a conversation with an old friend, uh, somebody that I really followed in music for a long time. A well, just Dan O'Day is the guy's name. He was known as the Bopper from the punk band River City Rebels. They were a band I, kind of grew up watching in New England. We're about the same age, so we kind of were in the same scene, and kind of grew with the band as they evolved into more like a rootsy rock and roll band. They started as like this like anthemic punk thing, and like by the end, they sounded like New York Dolls and like with a little touch of Bruce Springsteen in there. It's interesting. Like they it was cool watching these dudes grow. I mean, they went through a lot of band member changes over the years, but mainstay in the band was Bopper. Dan is a good dude, and I didn't know about him back in the day that he was like a super nerd, like video game
A
collecting.
lot of musicians are.
Yeah, but it's like when you know them, when they're really concentrated on music, they it's about the music. You don't see like as much of the personal side of them. But we talked a lot about the band, the River City Rebels, how they kind of evolved. Then at one point they broke up, and the reason I contacted him and got in touch to bring him on was because he announced recently that the band was getting back together. And it was cool for me because it was like one of my favorite bands, So it's like pretty exciting. It was good to catch up with him. I hadn't talked to him. We stayed in contact, but I haven't spoken to him in probably like 12 years.
Wow.
So it was cool, man. And like we got a lot of, turns out we're into a lot of the same shit. Like he's like into going thrifting and, junking and flipping stuff and eBaying and all that crap like I do. And it was good. It was a good chat. But I'm saying but a lot. Let me stop saying but
Well, I'll stop you and just say I was actually working when you guys had this little chat, so I'm looking forward to hearing it myself.
Yeah, I think you'll dig. As a musician, you'll be into it and hearing the story. He got some cool stories, dude. You like the Velvet Revolver story? That's pretty funny.
Awesome.
But anyways, yeah. So recently, we've been trying to grow the show, make it as good as we can. With I've mentioned a million times that we're learning as we go. We have no experience doing any of this. So we're really learning and we're figuring out like, dang, this could be better if we had a better piece of equipment or this or that. Or so we were like, you know what? I think people are starting to like us. So why don't we look into like crowdfunding and stuff? Because we're not really trying to make money, but we want to try to feed the show to make it as good as possible.
Yep. We just want to improve the show and be able to keep doing it for you guys.
Yeah. Just make it the best we can for you guys. So we checked out a few different options. I really dug in and I really liked this one called Buy Me a Coffee. It's basically like tipping. Like you could go on and just kick in, like I have ours set to like a low dollar amount. So you could buy like one coffee is like $3. So you could buy like one coffee, two coffees, you know what I mean? However much you want to. And it's pretty much like tipping. I think there is like a recurring thing you can set up to donate, kind of like you do on like Patreon or something. But like we're not really trying to do that. Nobody knows who we are. So I mean, if we get a couple bucks here or there, it will go into the show. It will help us produce the show. It'll help us promote the show. It'll, like you said, it'll help us make the show better, which is what we want to do.
Yeah.
And like I said, I know people are starting to like us. Like our local local media is in contact with us. Like we're gonna be in our local newspaper tomorrow talking about the show.
That's right.
Local radio station wants to talk to us soon, which I'm not going to say the station or anything yet until we got it set in stone. But
Mm-hmm.
I I think it means they like us. But
Yeah, and we're getting some good feedback on the webs and on the interwebs. We're getting some good feedback from some local people. Uh, we might start giving little shout outs on here to people that are interacting with us and just saying thank you to listeners. I'll give a quick one right now. Shout out to Sam Hobart for listening to us and checking out the show. We really appreciate it. Thank you for giving us a chance.
yeah, shout out. So I'm going to circle back to the buy me a coffee
Right.
thing. You could find our profile. Like we're linking it all over social media, of course. But you could go to buymeacoffee.com/Steve Crypto. There's like no and in there, just Steve Crypto. Buymeacoffee.com/Steve Crypto. And gotta we've already gotten some support on there. A few people like my buddy Mike, who has been a supporter of everything I've done over the years, from thestevestrout.com to now this. He kicked in. Our friend Megan, who she's a great artist. Well, I really want to have her on the show. I've been trying to get her to find time. Like scheduling's kind of tough, but she's one of my personal favorite artists. Like if you've obviously, I'm sure some of you follow my Instagram. If you look, you see a lot of like art that I have. A lot of it is hers. Like it's awesome. She's one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite people, and she's always supportive of everything we do as well. So let's give a shout out to her and my buddy Josh Cook. He's a old friend who I've known for years through the convention circuit. He was a writer who released a book a while back. He hasn't written anything lately, but he's a good dude, and he's always been into everything I do, and he's actually contributed at the Steve Stroud a few times. So I mean, he's a good dude. So thanks, Josh. Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Mike.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
We love you guys and appreciate it. So, I mean, if anybody chips in, we're going to give you a shout out and show you some love here on the show, of course, as always. And what else is new? We're working on an idea for a new segment to promote creators, artists, filmmakers, musicians, anything. That we want to do a segments on episodes where we give a creator like 10 or 15 minutes to pitch their project to whatever they're working on. And we're trying to work on a good name for the segment, something fun and catchy. And
let us know if you got any ideas.
Yeah, if you got ideas, hit us up on the social medias, on any of them. I'm sure if you're listening, you probably know where to find us. Yeah, give us an idea. We want to let creators pitch or sell their ideas to us and to you guys, because there's a lot of good shit people are putting out there that it's so vast that we can't see or hear about everything, and you guys can't. So this is the main goal of our show, is to bring this stuff to you guys, and for us to just vent and talk shit about whatever, to entertain ourselves too, to keep us from going crazy with the real world stuff. But yes, so we need a good name. Give us a good name for the little pitch segment. And
yeah, if you got an idea, pitch it to us.
Yeah, pitch it to us. There you go. That's a good one. Pitch it to us. But yeah, man, we'll come up with something. But other than that, before we get to the conversation with Bopper, I kind of want to bring the mood down a little bit, I guess. I don't really want to, but speaking of shout outs, I want to send some love to my buddy Rob Gordon. He night before last he had a heart attack, and I know he listens to the show and he promotes the show on his own like website and stuff. And I know they're prepping him to get ready in the next couple of days to do, like, I think he said a double bypass when I spoke to him. So he's going under the knife, and he's scared, but I mean, I just want to send good vibes.
Yeah, best of luck.
Steven Crypto Show, got nothing but respect for him, and we'll be thinking about him. And yeah, let's get into a better mood now.
Yeah, let's bring it back up again.
Yeah, let's bring it back up. That kind of got me a little kind of bummed. Should we get to the conversation? I know you're ready for it.
I'm ready. Let's get it.
All right, guys, check out my chat with my old friend Dan O'Day, the Bopper from the River City Rebels.
Hello, this is Igoro, host of the Igoro Show, and you are listening to the Steve and Crypto Show. So keep your ears open and your mouth shut.
Hey, we're here on the Steve and Crypto Show. I am doing a little solo chat with an old friend I haven't spoke to in, we were just discussing before we started rolling, probably 12 years since we spoke face to face, something like that. And talking with my old buddy Bopper, Dan O'Day, singer from one of my all-time favorite bands, not only just one of my favorite punk bands, but one of my favorite rock and roll bands of all time, the River City Rebels. They toured the country. I think you guys have toured some little international, haven't you?
Yeah, we toured a couple times in Europe. So that was at the very end of the first run.
Right. So yeah, these guys have, like you just heard, they toured the world. They've opened for everybody from the Dropkick Murphys to some of the other bands you guys played with, the Unseen, big punk bands. They played with Velvet Revolver, who is, they're a band of legends. So it's kind of, these guys were like one of them bands I feel like maybe the record label probably should have pushed them more and put out a little more publicity for them, and they probably would have been a little more household name. But
I don't think that was the problem.
No.
I thought about this. It was funny. I was just thinking about this. I hopped in the shower today after work, and I was thinking in the shower. I'm like, because I knew we were going to talk about the Rebels, and I'm like, what happened there? Obviously, we were on Victory Records, which is a really, really big independent label out of Chicago.
Especially for the genre, for punk music, Victory is like one of the top labels.
Well, the problem with that was we didn't really fit in with the bands that were on that label. So you had Thursday, you had this like emo punk thing going on that was blowing up. Then you had the wave before that, which was the hardcore stuff like Snapcase and Hatebreed, and that stuff we didn't fit in. So we were kind of in between, and in politics wise, all the tours that you wanted to get, you wanted to be on an Epitaph, you wanted to be on a Side One Dummy, because you were going to get hooked up with really good tours with supporting those bands that are on that label, but also getting a main stage on a Warped Tour. Whereas we did Warped Tour, but it was on such a small level. And I think Victory Records just rubbed a lot of the labels the wrong way. So they were like, fuck these guys. We're not helping the Rebels. Right. I don't think, we probably were a pain in the ass too. So that probably didn't help matters.
Right. So what you guys did the first 4 albums with Victory? Is that what it was? First 4?
We did actually. Yeah. The first 4 were all on that label. And, we progressed as a band each record, and it was weird. The label loved us, and each record seemed to do better, but right. It just
I go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there was definitely a huge growth between each album. Like the band evolved with a you could see more and more influence, broader influence coming into the music with each album, and that seemed like a kind of thing that didn't really fit on a label like that, because you guys went more towards, personally I feel like I loved it. I loved the growth, and I mean, I grew up with you guys. I enjoyed how you guys were just, you guys came up in that New England, we had that the anthemic kind of, the punk music coming out of our area.
Yeah.
And
early on,
guys,
it was all about the anthems, the 3-minute anthems, in and out, street punk stuff, which is
but then there was more depth with each album. And then by the Hate to Be Loved album, which is one of my personal favorite rock albums ever, it was just like such you wouldn't think it was the same band from the first album. So I feel like maybe like the change could have kind of alienated in some way. Maybe did you guys have any issues? I know you guys had a lot of fans that grew with you, but did you feel a lot of like backlash from?
Yeah, I think that's another factor in why we didn't succeed on a bigger level, was that we were evolving. We loved rock and roll music. We weren't stuck just to one type of music. Sure, punk rock was the foundation, but there was more to that than just staying in that box. So with Hate to Be Loved, it was the first album that we all lived in a house together.
Yeah,
we lived for a whole year. We lived in a house together, making music, demoing, watching videotapes of bands that we loved, getting inspired. And that was the first kind of effort to be like, all right, how are we going to shape this band? What's it going to look like? How is it going to feel? What's it going to sound like? And yeah, you can tell it was the first time we had all worked that hard on making a record. Before then, we were just a weekend band that would, we'd do some touring in the summer, and people were in college, so we didn't have that kind of free time to do it. But Hate to Be Loved was all in at that point. And you could certainly tell it was the first time I, as a songwriter, I wanted to express in detail everything that was going on in my life. And I think I did capture it for that year pretty well.
Yeah, it definitely, lyrically, and the songwriting of the album is a lot more personal than the stuff before it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It feels like you're telling, like the earlier stuff, it was like you're making a statement, you know what I mean? Angry or something. But in this album, it was like you're coming from somewhere deeper.
Yeah, it was the first time in my life that I wasn't in a committed relationship. I was living with these guys in my band. I mean, it was the greatest house. We just fucked shit up every night. Got fucked up, made music, had parties all the time. It was the best, absolute best year. And I'm so glad that it all boiled down to that one record where you have it forever now, but it's those memories of making that, and then to top it off by going into the studio with Sylvain from the New York Dolls to produce it. The story just, to me, it says a lot. And I hope one day that record is kind of looked back on, because I think a lot of people have, slept on it.
Yeah.
In general.
Right. Well, I mean, I know I've brought in people to shows, to Rebels shows back in the day when you guys were pushing that album, and there's people that weren't into punk music or the stuff before, but I turned them on to that, and it was just like boom, they're sold, and it opened their minds and branched them out to your older stuff, and then the other bands kind of fit in the genre, and it was good. It was a, like, I mean, there's a lot of albums you call masterpieces, but this is like, to me personally, I think this is your masterpiece. Not discounting any of the other albums you put out, but this was like the one that
I
was
yeah,
just,
I think it is.
I think it best exemplifies the River City Rebels.
Yeah, I mean,
In my
there's
heart,
like
it does.
3 or 4 different lineups of Rebels that you could all consider what they were, but for what we were doing and how we captured it, and the personnel and the members that we had, it was a close family. We were extremely close, and yeah, to me that it is some of the best work we ever did, and that goes to show you, like I said, you spend 1 year writing a record, and every single night you're writing and you're writing it. You put the work in, it's going to pay off. And we were hungry at that point. We wanted to make a point. We wanted to put ourselves on the map, and that was the year to do so.
Right? Yeah, I get that. It sounded like you said that up to the point before that, you guys were kind of like a weekend band, this and that, and then at one point you're just like, fuck it, we need to do this. This is life right now, and you guys just put it all out there, and we got a great album. I mean, people heard it and loved it. That's, you guys ended up, like I mentioned earlier, you guys played with like Velvet Revolver and stuff like that. Like, how did that happen? Like, did one of the members get a hold of the album, or?
Yeah, we had like advanced CDs obviously at the time, and we got it to Duff and Slash, and we had contacts in there, so we were just like, we would love to open up for you, because there was a lot of bands at that time. They were doing like a run of shows, kind of like before they did like the bigger stuff. It was in the medium-sized clubs, so a lot of the up and coming bands got the chance to kind of play with them, and we were just lucky enough that they dug what we were doing, and it fit well, so we got that shot. And that one show was as memorable. I wish we had filmed it.
Yeah,
because we had turned that whole fucking crowd against us in the best kind of way. Like, they wanted to fucking kill us. They had to form a line with security to get us out of the building.
Wow. Was it was there something that you guys are doing different, or you're just bringing that rebel swagger and it just touched them the right way,
Oh, they people weren't there to see us, and we knew it.
Right.
So we were going to make a point one way or another that they were going to remember who we were.
Yeah.
So to get that reaction, I remember there wasn't a whole lot of reaction till I said, like, I bet you guys think we're just going to go off stage and suck each other off and swallow each other's cum, huh? And the crowd just started fucking booing. Beer was flying at us. I remember Patty Bowe just like spitting the biggest loogie into the fucking air, into the crowd. And we just kicked into the next song. I mean, we sounded awesome that night. It was one of those things, and I think we won some people over, but it was to the point where the roadies for Velvet Revolver after the show came up to us and were like, we have never seen a band absolutely just turn the crowd like that. So it was a compliment. They loved it, and they wanted to bring us to Europe to do a tour, but Victory Records wouldn't put the bill up to front the money on it. So there was no way we could afford that.
Oh man, that's a bummer. It's a bummer. So then after Hate to Be Loved, there was Keepsake, which was another brilliant album and another step in the evolution. I felt like you brought in even more influences, which I feel like there was a lot of, what were you listening to personally in between Hate to Be Loved and the Keepsake album?
I would say that the biggest influences probably Yankee Hotel Foxtrot by Wilco was a huge album that we fell in love with. Um, Bob Dylan's Hard Rain live album
Right.
was a massive influence. A lot of the drum beats and stuff, we were trying to duplicate that kind of vibe. What else was going on at that time? Obviously, Clash, London Calling. We were trying to make a record that was our Sticky Fingers. It was our Exile on Main Street. It was our Springsteen's, The River. It was supposed to be a double album. And there was a lot of Americana stuff in there too. Ryan Adams stuff we were really digging on at that time, like Cold Roses had just come out.
Great album. Yeah.
So it was all that stuff. Mary Gaucher. The list could go on and on, but it was a lot of Americana stuff that we were bringing in, and it's funny in retrospect because I remember once we had finished those demos, because essentially we got I got us booted off Victory Records, and I figured that we'd just go out on our own and have better luck. I sent some demos of Keepsake to Joe Sib at Side One Dummy Records, and he got back. He was all excited. He's like, if this is anything like Hate to Be Loved, we're signing you essentially. And he heard it and he's like, oh, this sounds like Sunday morning music.
Sunday morning. See, I felt that the Springsteen vibes, like you mentioned, like big time. I played it for my boss. He's older, he's right. I think he's like 70 now, but at that point, he was in his 60s, and I played that album for him, and he's a big Springsteen fan, and he was like, he loved it. It's like old man was feeling it. So that's cool because I don't know. It was just another step in that growth where you guys just like I keep mentioning it over and over. I could probably wear out the saying that you guys grew at every album, but like I feel like that album was like the biggest step musically, like musicianship. Like you guys all brought a whole different level musically to the sound.
It was. I mean, we got a new drummer for that album, which helped tremendously. He was more of a technical drummer. It was almost a whole new crew of guys, really. We had a new bass player. We had a new saxophone player. There was a lot of pieces there that kind of played into that. And we rehearsed a ton, and we purposely learned how to play these songs as quiet as possible, as loud as possible. We had every avenue kind of covered and trying to create dynamics and how that would go over live and all that stuff. So we were very aware of all this stuff. And even the harmony stuff with me and Brandon, we worked our asses off on that. And he was adding, all this harmonica playing and keyboard. He was learning all that stuff. So there was so much levels to that, that everyone was just working so hard once again. And that was like 2 years in the making to get that record kind of to that point.
Excuse me. So yeah, that was the whole era when you guys were living out here in the Northwest, and I got to see you guys and hang with you guys a lot, and that was those were some of the once that album came out, I think the live shows, I think personally for me, it's some of the best Rebels live performances were after that album came out, and like everything translated so well. Like Brandon was huge. Like I feel like he was huge in that whole album and the whole live sound for that record, and it was like good shit, man. Like I can't praise it enough. But
it was truly the whole.
It was the whole lineup was superb. But like I know it was just I felt like I said, next level. Which what about around that time is when you put out your first solo album, if I remember right.
Yeah, Street Performance. That was our a record that essentially we had recorded Keepsake of Luck, and the production company that recorded it and put up the money for it essentially was trying to sell the album off to get it released, but they weren't able to do that because I don't know what the details were, but they sat on that record once it was done for a whole year. So we had nothing to do. We had no album to tour on. And to stay busy, I hit up Avi, the owner of Springman Records, and I was like, hey, do you want, can I do a solo album? It's like, sure, let's do it. And me and Brandon were busking on the streets in Seattle to make a living, essentially. So I had kind of that experience. So I figured, I got an acoustic guitar. Let's make a record of fun stuff. And there was other little things in there from demos and everything else. But just a fun little project to stay busy and kind of relevant while we were waiting to get the record back.
Right. And then after that, the albums following that, you guys all self-released, if I'm not mistaken.
No.
Did you guys start your own label or something?
Me and my buddy Sean Dave kind of have a little thing, but we had found like the In Love Loveless record came out on Bermuda Mohawk. That was a smaller label out of Michigan.
Right.
They had some bands like Cheap Girls and stuff like that. So there was a couple bands on that label that were fun, and they were cool and supportive. They released the vinyl for Keepsake of Luck, and they also did the CD for In Love Loveless. And then since then we've kind of been on our own releasing stuff, and
then there was the hiatus. Was there like a reason, or was it just a point when you guys were like, all right, nothing's happening, we're all growing up, let's go separate ways?
When
the band initially decided to wrap the Rebels?
Oh, so back in like 2013, I guess, was
somewhere.
Me and Brandon were kind of we were the last ones on the ship, kind of holding it together.
Right.
And we had been through so many lineup changes, and at that point, we were butting heads a lot just because we were frustrated that things didn't turn out the way we hoped. And anytime you live with someone for that long and you're working with them constantly, you're going to have problems. And I think it ran its course. We just couldn't, we were like I said, button heads way too much, and he kind of wanted to have his own life, and like I got it, and at that point I was a fucking mess. I drank a few handles of vodka per week, and as far as like a functioning person, I wasn't there anymore. I was barely functioning.
Right. So then so let's talk a little bit the time after the Rebels, in between then and obviously about a year ago you guys announced a reunion, but where did the time in between there take you? Like, did you, I mean, honestly, I've we connect on social media and follow you. Like I said, you started the YouTube channel and stuff, but like you seem like you've hit like you seem like you're living healthier than you have in a long time, and like you look younger than you did back in the day. You know what I mean? You seem like you're doing well. Like you're saying you were drinking and kind of not functioning. Was there a point when you were just like, fuck, I need to fix myself? And
yeah, I mean, I knew it from the final RCR show was in 2014. It was like a field of dreams. We flew in every member that had ever been in part of the band. We had like, because there was like probably almost 30 members that had been in the band. Yeah. So we had all these different lineups all together meeting each other. And at that point, it was probably the worst for drinking and all that stuff. I I thought that was it. That was the end of RCR. The run was over. I felt like shit. I looked like shit. And I couldn't stop drinking. I was okay with like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking kill myself by drinking. And I was totally fine with that. I was like, my body of work is there. I'm good. I can fucking check out. And then I think as you know, a few years went by, and you know, I was working. I have a girlfriend and all that stuff, and I'm like, I think one of those, you know, it was a couple of years later, I started thinking to myself, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this is madness. I'm just like drinking myself to death. And here I have a girlfriend, a partner in life who's supporting me and there for me. And I'm fucking like just sabotaging myself and our future together. So I woke up one day and I just fucking, I was like, that's enough. And I used to drink at work all day long in a kitchen. I would just get fucking hammered, but no one knew. Yeah. So I told my bosses at work, I was like, hey, I'm fucking drunk every day here. So I'm coming clean. This is how I'm going to sober up. And I took 10 days off and I haven't drank since. You know, it's been 5 years. So slowly but surely, you know, mentally, it fucking took years to even just drive a car again. My mind was so fucked up.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Like I said, you seem like you're doing good, healthy. You know what I mean? You seem like you're having fun with the YouTube channel I mentioned, the Rebel Gaming Club channel, and like it's good to see, man. Because like I know, I mean, you've had a million friends, but you probably remember mostly about me was drinking. You know what I mean? I drank and I literally drank right up until I had a heart issue. I went into heart failure. Like I drank right up, and this is around 04 or 05, and I drank like right up until like days before. Like it was crazy, man. And it was like one of the moments when you're like, well, what the fuck am I doing? I'm gonna die like if I don't stop. And I haven't drank since, and I'm doing good, and yeah, it definitely like it not having that weight of that, like the just constantly being fucked up, like it definitely helps your mental state like ridiculous, like because you really don't give a fuck.
No,
and then
when you drink, you know this, when you're drinking, like you can't. So even if you want to do something else in life, like say you want to exercise, say you want to make music, say you want to do whatever, like drinking is always in the way. Until you take care of that problem, you cannot progress anywhere else in your life.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it could be fun not telling anybody to not have a good time, but there is there's consequences of having too much fun. So I guess that goes to just about any advice in life, though. But anyways, back to good talk. So in the downtime, you got clean and healthy, and you're doing good, and then it's probably around when you started the channel, right? The YouTube channel.
Yeah, it is right around there. I needed something to kind of keep busy in my mind, you know, on something else. So collecting video games and random shit and making a channel to show it weekly on my progression of what I was collecting and kind of getting into that community, because getting into that community felt like a punk rock kind of thing. Everyone had a channel that were doing the same thing and they had their own following. So it was, I don't know, there was a connection there. I felt right away. And it's something I still do now, and it helps me stay focused and driven. It's fun. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, I've mentioned that I collect stuff and buy and sell things, and you know, I got tons of toys and collectibles. I've never been a video game guy, but I'm more like a, you know, vintage toys and all this and that. And it's cool. Like I like the whole. I don't know if it's because I'm getting old, but like that nostalgia you feel like when you find that old game or you find like that old action figure you had or something. It just like brings something out in you that you just hadn't had. You know what I mean? Like overall, our years becoming adults and getting old, all this shit you forgot, and like it brings it back. It just, I don't know. It's a good feeling. It's a good rush when you're out thrifting or like junking and you find this cool collectible, something that brings back an amazing memory from when you were a kid. And I think that's a big part of the enjoyment of doing this stuff.
Or even if you didn't have it as a kid, and then you're discovering it and you're learning about it, there's something to be said about finding a piece of junk out there and being like, what is this? Buying it, taking it home, researching it, seeing what it's all about. So it's like this constant like learning knowledge thing. I do it with records too. I might not know the band, but it's intriguing. I'm going to grab it, bring it home, take a listen, see what it's all about, investigate more into it. So it's like treasure hunting in the sense that sometimes you don't know what it is and you just kind of go on a gamble and trust your gut on a lot of those things.
Yeah. That's definitely today with the records. That's a good it's another good fun thing going out and like how many albums have you bought just because the fucking cover looked awesome? Same thing with like comic books.
Thousands.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of the coolest finds that you think you found in the last couple of years out thrifting or whatever? It's been like your favorite, like your prize junkin' pick.
There's been so much that I don't know if there's one item that I'm like, wow, that's it right there. I can't believe that. I've lucked out and found some things that I was able to flip pretty easy and make $300-400. So that's always a plus because then I get to actually invest and buy junk that I otherwise wouldn't. I can justify it because I'm like, this is all free money right here.
Exactly. Like, I don't know how much of my like the stuff I sell, I'm basically selling so I could buy myself better stuff. You know what I mean? Just so I could buy, like, there's all these collectibles I've always wanted that I couldn't afford when I was younger. So like I'm selling and trading stuff, and like, you buy something, you trade somebody else, you like upgrade, and before you know it, you got like like I ended up with a Shogun Godzilla earlier this year, which it's a toy I've always wanted. I've never gotten to have it. I was like, fuck, I can't afford $300-400 for it. I got bills, but then somehow I lucked out and I had something somebody else wanted, and it was like crap that I didn't give a shit about, and it was like, okay, let's trade. You know what I mean? It's cool, man. Like there's that community, like you said, like the followers and the community of the whole junking and picking scene. It's fun, man.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I have some friends that I've made through the channel, and I mean, there's one in mind that we like a lot of the similar things, but it's because it's like, do I like Sid Barrett from Pink Floyd? I like Sid Barrett, but he loves Sid Barrett tagging for me because he likes it, but he's not in love with it. So right. It's like this perfect relationship of finding junk for each other about the community. But we're into it for that trading kind of deal because you're always out there finding stuff, but sometimes you pass on it because you're like, well, I have no connection to this, and I don't even know anyone that would.
Right. But I think we're having some internet issues. Hold on just a moment.
All right.
Fuck. Let's see. This is annoying. Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, maybe you're just glitching for a minute. But yeah, man, it's like you said, there's sometimes you'll find something that you do have no connection to, and you think you don't know anybody, but it's like something that you know has some kind of value to it, so you get it anyways. How many times have you done that? Just
My fucking house is just full right now of shit that I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this, because I could try to sell it, but I don't even have the free time to sell right now. So
right.
I'm just clogging my house up. But one day somebody's gonna come by and be like, "Holy shit, you got that? You could have that. The price is right." But yeah, that's how it is, man. I got boxes and boxes of toys and books and games and junk and just so much shit. And then the freaking, I don't know your thoughts on like the whole Funko Pop craze, but that went crazy. And those, we ended up with a shitload of those, but I'm unloading. Those are doing pretty good for me on eBay, so that's good. But like when they got popular, it was like, oh, look, they got all the He-Man characters and they got all the G.I. Joe guys. I got to get them all. And like all the WWE guys. And it's like, fuck. And then before you know it, you have 10 fucking boxes full of them. And it's like, oh, Lord. And those things take up so much room.
They do.
Like I have a few that I keep in my collection, but like I'm looking at the X-Files one right over here. And I'm like, I just thought to myself today, I'm like, I need to sell those fucking things because I could probably get about $100 for the two.
Yeah, that's a good pair. I mean, shit. It'll pay a bill. It'll pay the light bill that month. Shoot.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah,
certainly will.
Sure. But so the Rebel Gaming Club, YouTube, people listening should check it out. Watch some of the episodes. They're fun. They get a little crazy. He goes into like little skits and fucks around with his buddies and shows off his picking hauls. And he got a lot of good friends that send him some really cool shit that like blows my mind. Some of the boxes you get of stuff like, hey, my buddy sent me this, and you open it and there's like all these old NES games, and like, man, it's hard. Like, you don't see people that generous with that stuff because everybody knows it has like a value now. You look at like the internet and like all these TV shows, like the reality TV shows about, you know, like Pawn Stars and all that shit. Like everybody thinks their stuff is gold now. So it's like that generosity isn't there. So seeing it is kind of exciting.
It is. It's nice, and I think that why that happens, you know, more often than not, is because people know that I'm super sentimental, and I do cherish this stuff, and I appreciate it all. So I think that helps. Yeah. Because I don't focus on the selling aspect at all when it comes to the channel, because half the time the financial stuff doesn't matter to me. Like, if I find something that is obviously easy to sell, I'll sell it. But a lot of stuff, I'm like, there's a connection to just about everything, or there could be. So yeah, I don't know. I am sentimental. Like a lot of people I know just aren't. They'll sell anything. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's like me. Like I'll sell stuff, but the reason I'm doing it is to add those sentimental pieces to my collection. And
yeah,
I guess it's kind of, I'm not selling to like, I want to be like, you watch some channels and there's like flipper channels and they're just like in Goodwill, like I'm going to make $50 off this pair of underwear. You know what I mean? Like this will get me this. It's like I don't want it to be a job. You know what I mean? I like it to be fun the way it is.
Money
now.
Talk. It's like if you had a big dick and you kept pulling it out, being like, look how big that dick is. You like that dick? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't give a shit about your dick. Yeah. Like, I don't care about your money. I don't care about what it's worth. It's cool if it has some value, but if that's your channel, is just the brag about what you're flipping, like I have no time for it. And people eat that shit right up, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's like watching let's play videos on video games. I'm like, I don't have fucking time to play my own video games. I'm certainly not going to watch you play your video games.
Sure. Absolutely. I can't.
I don't get it.
No. It's weird, man. Everybody just got their thing. Remember the old days before YouTube and the internet and like how we had to learn shit? Just like it's different times, that's for sure.
Yeah, it just makes everyone think they're an expert now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's the downside. The real experts aren't really consulted anymore, which is a shame.
Yeah. But so yeah, Rebel Gaming Club, YouTube. Go check it out, everybody. And so that's what's been going on up until about a year ago, since the announcement that you were getting the band back together. What point, did something happen, or did you just wake up one day like, fuck, I missed the Rebels and let's just do this? Or
I felt like I had my mojo back. I felt like I was ready to fight again. It was one of those things, for years, like I said, I had fucking destroyed myself mentally and physically. And all of a sudden I woke up and I'm like, I'm feeling fucking strong. I'm feeling really good. I think I can do this again. I think I have more to say. And there was also a crop of younger dudes in this scene that I'm like, you know what? I want to bring them into the fold because that's going to fuel the fire. And I think we can do this again. And it's an excuse to travel, to see old friends again. And I'm not done, obviously writing songs. So that avenue is great. And yeah, that was the thought. And I put the open invite to any ex-Rebel that wanted to be part of the band. They could be. That was the other big thing, Most didn't take me up on the offer, but
right.
At least it was out there.
Yeah. Well, a couple of old members came back. So that's good. It's good seeing Patty back in the band. That was exciting when I heard Patty Bow is coming back. I was like, yeah, that's my dude right there. He was not to discount any other former Rebels, but he was my favorite guitar player.
Yeah, he's
been
awesome.
in the lineup. He has a cool about him. He's a good dude. He got like a cool swagger to him when he performs. He's a performer. He's a fucking great player. And it's just the total package that fits perfectly in the River City Rebels.
Yeah, he's a River City Rebel.
He is a River City Rebel. Exactly.
You put him in other applications, it doesn't seem right. I never thought, but when we're together making music, it's like a glove. It's like riding a bike. Doesn't miss a beat.
That's good. Well, it's good to see him back. And so you guys started rehearsing. Did you guys actually get to start recording before COVID hit, or did that kind of just a little rehearsing and then you guys played a couple shows?
We had spent the whole year kind of working on a new record because I didn't want it just to be like, hey, we're going to play the old stuff and kind of live off of that. I'm like, if we're going to do this, we're going to make this lineup known with an album, and I want to play 4 or 5 songs. So that was the idea. So we spent 7-8 months just writing and rehearsing, and then obviously we booked a couple shows, played 2 shows, and we were all set to go into the studio. And that's kind of when the COVID shit hit. It was 3 weeks before we were supposed to go in, so we had to cancel. And then a few months back, we were thinking about going in again, and that's when the number obviously started fucking spiking again. So we had to postpone it once again. So at this point, hopefully these vaccines kind of get out there and we can get right back to the business.
There's a lot of negative that came from the COVID stuff, but a lot of the conversation we've been having here on the show, I've been trying to get people to talk about the positives, like what good did you take from this downtime and the quarantine time? And you, it sounds like you put together a solo album. Was that during COVID, or did you have that already in the works? Or
Well, the beginning of COVID, obviously, once we got kind of laid off of work and kind of the country kind of shut down, I used that time. I was working out every single day, going nuts, just like fitness as much as I could, which was fun because, well, normally you work a job and it's kind of tough to do that. So that was a plus. And then I also reached out to Lee and Jake from Madcap and my buddy Zach Kaplan from Worthless United to record an EP. We did that first. We did 4 songs, via the internet, sending shit around, and recorded that. And I was like, that was a lot of fun, but I feel like I still want to do something else. And I just started listening to bubblegum pop records from the late 60s and got inspired. And I'm like, you know what? I've never done an album by myself where I recorded the drums and did everything in-house myself. So that I spent $100 on a drum set, turned it into like a Partridge Family looking drum set. And yeah, 10 new songs. I collaborated with the songwriting with my buddy Tony Hill. And I think it turned out great.
yeah, I never heard the one track you released. I can't place the name of it, but you put it out. What song was it?
Probably Genie Again was the first.
Thanks. I know you put out a song or two for people to check out and listen to, but like I said, my memory's shot. But people could get a hold of the album, right?
Yeah.
You still have copies of it.
You search Bopstar, Twice Chewed, the Bandcamp will pop right up, and yeah, you can listen to it there for free, or purchase it if you like. But either way, it don't matter to me.
That's good. So the Bopstar project, what else have you gotten out of the COVID downtime? Fitness, the solo album, anything else good come from there? I mean, it's been a long time. It feels like it's been 10 years since this shit's been going on.
Yeah, I mean the being able to kind of get in touch with the fitness stuff and get into like a routine was massive. I mean, this is stuff that I used to do back in 2002, 2003, and just building stamina and stuff like that. It's huge. I forgot how much I enjoyed it and took pride in it. Also, being a vegan and kind of progressing on what I can cook, what I can't cook, and kind of learning. That was another big thing I kind of took away, was just trying to hone the cooking properly.
That's definitely a lot to learn, like vegan cooking and proper, legit vegan cooking and all. There's a lot to know, a lot to know what to stay away from, a lot to know what you can and can't do. And it's like, because we went vegetarian because I'm crazy and I can't not have cheese. You know what I mean? So it's like, if it wasn't for that, I could probably do vegan, but it's like, I've tried to just prepare vegan meals, and it's like, it's work.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a bit of a challenge. I mean, at this point in my life, though, I'm lucky. I'm a prep cook, so I've been doing that for 10 years. So I'm pretty handy with a knife and just mixing stuff together. So I think that's kind of helped. But I've done a lot of research because my girlfriend's also vegan, so
right.
That's been a huge bonus. That she's I guess she's a foodie. Is what you would call her. She's obsessed with like food blogs and stuff like that, and finding out about new products and what the market is. And it's good. She, relays the information to me, and I kind of like get hands on with it.
Yeah. So that's good. See, there's, like we mentioned, like the flippers on the internet that are like assholes. I mean, there's a lot of bullshit on the internet, but there is good too. Like in this sense, like your girlfriend watching like the food blogs and vlogs and all that, and learning from it. There's a lot of shit to learn. Like, yeah, the internet's crazy, man. Like I said, I mentioned before YouTube and all that, like before the internet and everything, it was like totally different. Like the world's changed. Like it's every once in a while I'll sit down and just think about how things are different, how everything, it's easier now, but it's not simpler, if that makes sense. You know, like trying to figure, like going on the internet is it can be, it's just like, especially right now. I don't know. I think a lot of my time has been like avoiding the internet because of everything happening in the world. So I've been kind of like, I probably sound like a crazy person right now, but I'm like, how am I trying to explain it? I'm just
yeah, no, you probably burnt out. I mean,
yeah,
that was
exactly.
The other thing I forgot to mention was I fell in love with politics during this downtime. I was able to every night kind of focus on what was going on in politics and following, each step of what was happening. I voted for the first time in my life this election, if that says anything. That's how charged I was to make a difference,
Yeah, it's definitely a good it's definitely a good first one to vote in, that's for sure. That's for damn sure. But yeah, like I said, like I was trying to say, you mentioning your girlfriend, learning stuff on the internet. Like every once in a while, something will remind me how, like you said, burnout by the internet, annoyed by it, don't want to even deal with it. But every once in a while, something will come up to remind you that it's like such a powerful tool. And I mean, glad we have it. But yeah, it's glad you voted. That's now you got me thinking about that. That's a good thing. But it's really your first time voting.
Yeah,
That's wild.
before it never really called to me. It never was like, you need to do this.
Right.
This time around though, I was like, oh, this is fucking calling. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something about this. And I felt good about it. And yeah. And I fucking dragged out some people that don't vote either to come vote, So it was a positive thing, and I was glad to kind of get involved in that just for, at least this election. Who knows the next one? I'll probably vote again, but I don't think it's gonna be this meaningful ever again.
No, you're probably not, at least not in our lifetimes. Hopefully
Yeah, if
not.
it does, we're in
Hopefully
trouble.
not. Yeah, this was a not to get into politics much, but this was it's been an interesting 4 years to say the least. And then this last year, shit hit the fan extra hard, and it was just like, I'm done, over it. Like, yeah, it's just been a rough year, man. So much crazy shit going on besides what the world is seeing, like personally, just wild things. So it's like ready for it to be over. Ready for it to be over. But anyways, let's get back to talking about you and what's next. You got waiting for COVID to clear up.
Yeah,
Rebels.
it's once we get this vaccine out there, obviously our drummer and our bass player are kind of compromised, so there was no point in kind of pushing any sort of recording until everything is 100% safe.
Right.
But once that happens, we're going right into the studio to cut 10 new songs, and I don't know how we're going to release that. There's a couple of smaller labels I kind of want to shop it to and see if they're interested in. With the talk is that we'd release the album and try to play 20, 30 shows on it. So not a ton, right. But enough, because Patty Bowe lives in Jersey. I'm in New Hampshire. Our drummer's in Massachusetts. So we're all kind of spread. So it's got to make sense for us to do it. We can't just be like, we're going to take any show. It's got to be something that's meaningful with a
Right.
reason. But we're still going to get active in that point. And, who knows? I would love to tour Japan. That's like the last
That would be
real
cool.
big, check mark that I need to fill in there.
Right. So do you think once things are, go greenlit, are you guys gonna just play? Are you thinking you want to just do like a tour, just book a run of dates, or you gonna do like sporadic here and there shows, or
I think it's going to be like a weekend, one weekend per month. We'll kind of do it that way,
right?
and pretty much do regional stuff. I can't imagine us going further west than Ohio, and then probably no further than Virginia southwise. So
Right.
it's it's our general area for the most part.
Right. I mean, unless it does really well, of course. Then
Yeah, if it took off, but God, the punk rock right now and music in general is fucking dead.
it's kind of it's rough.
It's dead. It's 100% fucking dead.
And to find anything good, you have to really dig, because there's not really much like the mainstream stuff is, like, not to shit on anybody, but a lot of it just has no like heart. You know what I mean? It's like,
But there isn't
boring.
even.
It's boring.
We're talking like even mainstream. There's barely any mainstream rock and roll happening.
Yeah, rock and roll. No, yeah. Like if you think mainstream rock music, like really, it takes me a minute to even think of a band. Like all I got is like Foo Fighters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get the Killers.
Yeah.
You got Killers, maybe. Greta Van Fleet, whatever.
Has there been any like newer bands that you've seen or heard that you were like kind of into, sort of mainstreamish?
There's a band called Always, or Always, I guess depending on how you say it, from Canada. They're a 5-piece, female-fronted, and they're phenomenal. One of my favorite bands going. The new Black Lips album was awesome. I think they're wonderful. Future Islands is another really awesome band that just released an album this year that I love. So there's a small handful, but the most of it, I searched too. I'm like, where are these bands? Where's, especially a lot of the stuff that maybe the RCR gets associated with. I can't do it. I find it contrived. I find it watered down. There's just not enough substance there to kind of keep me engaged, which is too bad, because I want to love it. I want to be inspired by these other bands, but it's just not happening right now.
Yeah, it's like I said, I guess it's dead. I'm trying to think personally of other bands that, rock bands that have been like lately. We've been listening, like my fiance is really into kind of like indie rock, so I've been listening to a lot of her music with her. Like she loves bands like some good indie rock bands like Def Cab and like
Arcade Fire,
stuff like that. She's into those more like the mellower vibe indie stuff. Like she really likes actually one of the best shows I've been to in years, or hasn't been one in years, but best shows I've been to in a long time. I took her to see Vampire Weekend.
They're a fun band. I mean, that first album was phenomenal, but
their live performance is like top notch, dude. Like if they're a band, like if they're ever kind of in your area and you get to see them, like class, like brilliant performance, like really good. Like I've seen a shitload of bands over the years, but it's the show stands out. Like it's up there with like, I've seen like Roger Waters and all the cool shit. AC/DC is one of the funnest live shows to see. Like legends, but like this that show has really stood out. Maybe it's because it's the last concert I've been to or the first one I've seen in a long time, but I was impressed. I was impressed by those guys. That's another band. Have you listened to damn, now their name slipped my mind. And I actually dig their last album, their British band, the Struts.
I hate that band.
You don't like them?
Oh, I can't do it.
They got a cheesiness to them, but I like the vocalist. I think he's a great performer and singer, but I get why you wouldn't like him, but I think the thing that appeals to me about him is that they're trying to play rock and roll music, which we're not getting much. So
see a band, but then I see a band like the Chats from Australia who are phenomenal. They're young, they're up and coming. The shit is fun. You know they're doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah,
and they kick ass. Are you familiar with the Chats?
No, I'll have to definitely check them. I'm actually making a note right here because, like I said, I've been so distant from music scene that, like I said,
truly the one thing I've seen in the kind of punk world where I'm like, there's fucking hope. There's hope for this next generation coming up. They're the one hope that I've seen, and they're in tradition of like Australian rock and roll, which brought you everything from AC/DC to Rose Tattoo to Radio Birdman, the Saints. They take all that influence and make it fun in a 3-piece garage band.
See, that's what we need. We need bands like that. That
100%.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm definitely, as soon as we get done recording here, I'm gonna pull up to YouTube and chat and check them out. The Chats, right?
The Chats.
Okay.
CHATS, and they have a ton of music videos, and they're all really funny, and the songs are catchy. God damn, I love them. I bought the vinyl. I pre-ordered it. Like nice. I don't buy a ton of new vinyl, but I'm like, I need to get behind this band and show some love.
Nice. And you said they're a pretty young bunch of dudes, or?
Yeah, I think they're probably all under 22 years old.
Wow. Kids. Them kids. It's pretty weird. Does it feel weird calling these like 20-somethings kids now?
I guess. I suppose, but yeah, there's hope. There's, like I said, I couldn't believe finally something that made me feel something.
Well, that's good. That's good. So what else has been new? What else has been what's been going on in life? Music, the channel, the life with the lady. Anything else exciting?
Not really. I mean, we've kind of hit upon it, there's collecting video games, there's working out, there's learning more about vegan cooking, there's writing music, there's, releasing music, there's producing video content for YouTube, there's going to work and prepping food all day, there's watching Supernatural before bed for 2 hours every night.
Supernatural. Did you watch the finale?
No. I knew the show, but I'm now starting. So I'm on season 5 right now. So we're getting there.
Yeah, that's one of those kind of. At first, when I started watching that, it was almost felt like a guilty pleasure kind of show. Like, I'm gonna over here watch it in the corner, like not let people know that I'm into it. But then you get into it and you're all invested in it, and these characters are like, "Don't you fuck with Dean? Like, that's my boy right there." Like,
yeah, no, it's like it's the best of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets fucking X-Files. It's a great combination. It works really, really well, and it's
and they got what I really dig is they got their badass vehicle. You know what I mean? Like, remember, I missed the 80s, like Knight Rider and the A-Team and shit. All these shows had this badass vehicle. Like, that's one of those things about that show that throws me back. But I haven't watched the finale yet either. So I'm working up to it. I'm on season 14, I think. But you're getting to like the good stuff. You're like right in the middle of the good shit right now. So
Yeah, no, it's getting good. Season 5 has been pretty fun, and I like how each season you get like the one spin-off episode that's not quite in it. It's just kind of like an offshoot where they did that Ghost Facers
yeah.
episode where it's like the reality show.
Yeah.
Shit like that. I think it just keeps it fun and fresh, and that's a hell of a cast they have.
It's a good show, good cast, definitely. So since you brought up TV, what are some other shows you're into or been getting into?
I love shitty reality TV shows. So Jersey Shore, Florida Bama Shore, those are two of my favorites. Big Brother, I like watching every year, especially the Australian version. I like to watch that. Yeah, pretty much. Any ghost hunters,
All like ghost hunters and all that.
Ghost Nation, Ghost Adventures, because I find that to be non-believable. But the other shows I do like.
Which one was Adventures? Is that the one with the Zach guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's
anyway. That guy's a douche. Like, I don't buy into it.
Yeah, I don't like that guy. They actually filmed an episode here in I'm in Port Townsend still. They did an episode here because we have this it's a hotel. It's known as Manresa Castle, and they apparently it's haunted, and they did an episode here, which is, I mean, that was kind of neat, but it seemed like they didn't really have too much happen, but whatever. That dude's still a douche. I don't know. Like you said, douche. But
yeah, no, I can't buy into him. But yeah, so that's the kind of shit that I like that, and I watch OSW wrestling on YouTube. That's like my other big thing.
Watching wrestling. Remember the good old days of wrestling?
Yeah, wrestling sucks now. So I listen to Jim Cornette like rip it apart on his podcast.
Jim Cornette I can listen to that dude talk for hours, man.
I love
real.
Him.
The dude is real. He don't pull no punches. If he don't like somebody, he lets it be known. He'll shit all over him. But he knows his shit. The dude is like a genius mind for that business. But
yeah, he's an expert. He knows it 100%. That's why I love listening to him. He knows it.
Yep, and he knows what's good for the business, and that's why he rubs people the wrong way, because he'll let them know you're a fucking idiot, and that's all there is to that. But yeah, man, you grew up in New England. Remember the good old days when like the WWF was the shit?
It was good, but then again, it's I would take the Attitude Era over the early WWF 80s shit any day.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely better, but there's a big point there when I kind of went a few years without watching. Like, it was a point when I was just starting to get into probably high school, maybe, when I started like partying and wanted to chase girls and work and make money. So I like wrestling kind of took the back burner, and I apparently missed all the best shit. Because so many people throw the Attitude Era at me, and I was like, "What? Who's that guy? Like, when did this happen?" Like, I knew The Rock and all them,
the absolute best. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's not really anything really super intriguing now, especially with like the WWE product. I mean, occasionally you'll get like some good stuff in like NXT. And I haven't had a chance to watch AEW much. I should, because I'm like a big Chris Jericho fan, but I just haven't watched it. I just can't. There's like nothing that's like, in the old days, and it's like, damn, I need to watch Monday Night Raw. What time is it? Like, and now it's just like, if I'm flipping through, I might stop.
It's not very good. It's not must-watch TV anymore.
It don't excite me that much anymore.
No, if it was good, you would watch it.
I'd rather watch fucking, somebody decorating their house for Halloween on YouTube, or, watch you pulling open boxes of games or something. Than I'd rather watch something that people are creating rather than some crap, whatever Roman Reigns is doing this week. But yeah, but that's that, man. That's
You said about the small content creation.
yeah. I think I lost you there for a second. God damn internet.
Yeah.
Friggin' internet. The people who listen love the little glitchy parts. That's their favorite. That's what they listen. I'm just kidding. But no, I lost you for a second, but it's all good. You were saying something about people creating content.
Oh yeah, it's fun to find those small channels that you can kind of relate and connect to, and you feel like you could reach out and get a hold of them anytime you wanted. That's nice.
Yeah,
you
absolutely. So before we wrap up this conversation here, anything you want to plug or anything you want to mention before we shut her down? I mean, mention the YouTube channel, or anybody wants to reach out and be like, hey, what's up, Bopper? How you been, brother? Like, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Rebel Gaming Club on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. You can River City Rebels on Facebook. All that stuff. Those two main things. You search those things and you find that, and that's how you get a hold of me.
Cool. And think
Awesome.
if it's cool with you, we could probably wrap the episode and run a song or two. Anything you want buddy to hear?
I emailed a song from my solo record, The Three of Us.
Okay, so we'll play The Three of Us from the Bopstar album.
Yep.
And you said you can listen to it at...
If you search Bopstar Twice Chewed,
right,
the Bandcamp, I can send the link as well.
So it's on Bandcamp. Yeah, we'll post the link up when I put the episode up and all that good stuff. And yeah, man, it was good catching up. It's been a while. We'll have to definitely do this again once things get more, the world gets safer and the Rebels are starting to do it. Maybe we'll talk a little more and run some of the new tunes once they come out. And most people know that I record the show on Zoom and do the whole conversation. I'm noticing you got the Criterion Godzilla set back there, and it's like, oh man, it's like distracting me because I've been wanting to buy that, but I can't push myself to spend $200 yet for it. But
yeah, wasn't cheap.
It's a nice set though. The art is pretty and it's a good one. But yeah, man. Thanks again. Like I said, we'll do this again soon. Be well, stay healthy, and you look good, man. You look like you're...
I fucking feel great. So
like I said,
what I mean? I appreciate you doing this, and I'll once the link is up or whatever, let me know, and I'll use all the media that I have to get it out there.
Cool. We definitely appreciate that, and we will be in touch, dude. I'll let you know once we're live in the internet land.
Awesome. Have a good night, bud.
Thanks, man. Later. Hey, you guys. I want to thank Dan O'Day for hanging out and chatting. It's been way too long since I talked to that dude. That was fun. Good time. I'm really excited for COVID stuff to clear up and the River City Rebels to record some new music, because that shit was my jam back in the day. Man, speaking of music, like we mentioned, Bopper he sent us a track from his Bopstar solo album. So if you're into a little bit of power pop, bubblegum pop kind of stuff, stick around. At the end of this episode, we will run his song called Just the Three of Us. I think you guys will dig it if you like a little rock and roll music. But yeah, man, check out our Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com/Steve Crypto. And thank you guys for listening. Thanks for supporting, and we will see you soon. Enjoy Just the Three of Us from Dan O'Day's project called Bopstar.
always times two. You love just one, I love two. My heart's a ball rolling down the alley, but I can't stop loving the both of you. I can't help it, one won't do. Do you love geometry? 'Cause both lines point to me. Oh Sally, oh Sue, imagine the things we could do. Oh Sally, oh Sue, could it be just the three of us? Could it be just the three of us? You want me to pick, you need me to choose, but for me, that just won't do. I got a solution, kind of a compromise. I'll split my heart directly in two. How about we just sleep on it, the three of us? How about we just sleep on it, just the three of us? How about we just sleep on it, just the three of us, just the three of us, just the three of us? Oh yeah. Oh Sally, oh Sue, imagine the things we could do. Oh Sally, oh Sue, could it be just the three of us? Oh Sally, oh Sue, imagine the things we could do. Oh Sally, oh Sue, could it be just the three of us? Could it be just the three of us? Be just the three